Okay, welcome everyone to Girls Tennis Banquet for the 2021 tennis season. Yay! It seems like a very long time since we've been here, and it's because, you know, we missed an entire girls tennis season last year. We just missed it. And some of you that are here lettered last year. And you'll get 2 certificates this year because you lettered last year and you lettered this year. But we didn't get to have a banquet. And it is just so great that we get to be here today and we get to have this banquet and celebrate these young women. First off, I have to say, thank you parents, to all of you for everything that you've done for the program. Thank you for raising these young women. They are fantastic, amazing. You've done an incredible job. We are so fortunate to be able to coach them and have them out on the tennis court. They are a lot of fun. And a long time ago, I learned something very important when I was 24 years old. I had a really good head of hair. I learned that as a head coach, you are only as good as your assistant coaches. And I honestly know that I have the best staff in the entire state. So I'm going to talk about them here in a second, but before I do that, I have to say that while I do have the best staff in the entire state, they did not put this banquet together.
True.
Very true, right, Dave? Very true. So I have to thank some people who put this banquet together. Our team moms and if Christine Pruitt, Crystal Hostelli, and Megan Fry, if you can come up, because I have a little something for you. So thank you. For doing this banquet and everything. Megan, thank you. Oh yes, I know. I wanted to. Let's hear it for these 3 ladies putting this banquet together. And I know I talked about the banquet, but they also did so much this year as far as getting drinks and stuff for the girls, making sure that they had everything at the tournaments that they needed, making sure Dave had his coffee in the morning, making sure Jeff had his egg sandwich from Einstein's. You know, there's a lot that they do that goes unsung, and we are very, very thankful, including, I believe it was making wontons for the coaches this year. Right, Christine, wontons? They were the best wontons that I've ever had in my life. They got us through the Big Regis match. They're the best ones that I've ever had in my entire life. So, anyways, next, I'm going to talk a little bit about our coaches, and I'm going to introduce each and every one of the coaches, and then they're going to come up here and stand up here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go through the teams and the girls and talk about all the girls individually and talk about their seasons and what they accomplished and everything like that. And then the coach that coached them the most this year is going to talk a little bit about each and every one of them. We're doing this for 2 reasons. Number 1, because we feel like those coaches had the greatest connection with you since they coached you the most. And they also said that I talked too long, so they wanted to talk, and maybe it would go faster. So we decided to do that. We're going to see how it goes. I'm sure everybody's going to say, playing again next year, you should just do the whole thing and not let the other coaches talk. Right, girls? See how scared they are? It's crazy, isn't it? They just start nodding when I tell them, right, girl? Oh, yes, coach. That's exactly what he said. First off, the first coach so basically when I introduce the coaches, they're going to come up here and they're going to talk about the season and what they thought about this season. Actually, I'm going to back up for a second. Before I do that, I'm going to talk about the season. Just so you know, I know that we have state next week, but this team this year is one of the most decorated teams that Mountain Vista has ever had. And that's saying a lot because we've had a lot of great teams here at Mountain Vista. This team went 7-0 in league play this year, winning the regular season Continental League Championship. They followed that up by winning the Continental League Tournament. And every girl on the team finished either first or second team all conference. They then followed that up by winning the regional that we got to host, and all 6 out of 7 of them won the regional, and all 11 girls qualified for the state tournament, which will be next week. You know, as I look back on the season and I think about it, it's interesting because we really didn't know. We knew we had a pretty good team. We knew that coming into the year. But we didn't really know what we had because we basically got through challenge matches last year and they basically said, hey, the season's over, and we lost 6 seniors from that team, and we were basically sitting there like, well, we've got this really young team, but we didn't know how good they would be. And we talked about at the beginning of the year, the season being a journey together and how we would improve through the journey. And we started in a lot of ways in our journey with girls liking each other. And I really believe that we've come to a place where this team loves each other. And that could be, you're going to see this because when we started the season, we literally lined up to play, and the girls didn't even know each other's names, and they didn't know what to do. And Dave is an amazing guy, and he comes over to me and he goes, "Hey Jim, did you tell the captains that they do introductions before the first match?" I go, "No, but they know what to do. Elizabeth saw it like 2 years ago." He goes, okay, I'm gonna go talk to him really quick. So then he walks over there and he goes, "Hey, you guys know what to do here for the first one?" And they're like, So if I could have got a picture of Elizabeth and Olivia's faces, I go, "Well, there's no time, we gotta go, let's go. And we did it, and they just kind of clapped for each other, like, and they looked at the girl down the line and said, "What? How do you say your last name? How do you say it?" And that's where we started as a group. And now I can't imagine a closer group of girls. I honestly cannot. Like where we were on at the end of the regional, and just the excitement about everybody going to state and the photographic opportunities that were being taken, and how much they really cared about each other and talking about just different things like going to dinner and hanging out and what you're gonna wear, and weren't you gonna do like a necklace party? And a necklace party. And I mean, it's just, they've really grown and come together as a team and as a group, and it really makes me think about where they started and where they are now, and it's really exciting to be a part of that. And I know I speak for all of the coaches when I say it's really exciting to see how you guys have all come together and grown together as well as individually. So that's my take on the season. And I'm still really looking forward to this week and to the state tournament, and I'm just really excited to see what these girls do, because their improvement in tennis has been great throughout the year, but their improvement as individuals has also been great. So let's hear it for them real quick. All right, our first coach that I'm going to introduce has been an assistant coach here for I believe this is his 11th year, but he was also a parent here in Jim Flanagan's first year of coaching. That's right, back when I was 24 and had a really good head of hair. I'm going to go back to that joke quite a bit in this. Photo. But I don't know if a lot of you know this, and I like to share this story about him. But back when I was 24 and I had a really good head of hair and I was a coach, here in my first year, there were people who wanted to fire me. Who said, he's terrible, he's a bad coach, he's a bad guy, all those different things. I know it's shocking. You can all look shocked, your jaws get at the floor.
You're talking about the full head of hair or the?
No, I'm talking about that people would want me to be fired.
Got it.
Okay, that's the part.
Right.
And this guy was one of the main people. He was the main person who came to my defense and said that this person is doing amazing things, and went to the athletic director of Mountain Vista, wrote a letter, and basically said that this person is amazing and needs to be held on to at Mountain Vista High School. For that, I am completely indebted to this man, Dave Jensen, everybody. Yeah, this is where you give your speech, but are you going to use the microphone?
I think that was a pretty good decision, don't you? Instead of this guy? Yeah. Okay. The coaches, we all went fishing. We all went fishing. Went on this fishing trip to Alaska, and we were fishing. And Paul caught one that was about a foot long, and I said, throw that one back. I don't want that one. And Frank caught one about a foot and a half. And I said, no, I'm not keeping that salmon. It's too small. And Dan caught a 2-footer, nice looking fish. No, throwing it back. And Jeff had one over 2 feet long, okay? And I said, nope, throwing it back. And Jim had one that was almost 3 feet long, giant salmon. So no, throwing it back. And Liz caught the biggest one. It was about 3.5 feet. Great fishing, Liz. Nice job. And they said, why are we throwing all these fish back? And I said, because my frying pan is only 8 inches long. A little bit better reaction than your ball jokes. A little bit. A big thing that these young ladies help me with, and that you as parents help me with, is learning to think and to dream bigger. Okay? And I'm planning on taking a really big frying pan to state. Okay? All right? So, I want to thank a couple people that brought me the most coffee, Megan Fry and Crystal Hostelli. I got a gift for you, a Jimmy Buffett book. If you're not a Jimmy Buffett fan, that's a sin. You need to become a Jimmy Buffett fan. Here are books for you. People that brought me the most coffee. Yeah, very important role in the team, bringing Dave coffee. Okay. Next, my lovely assistant Vanna Jensen is going to help me. The organization my day job is with, we work with a group on a trash dump in Nicaragua. Worldwide, 15 to 20 million people live on trash dumps. It becomes an economic engine in a place like Nicaragua when unemployment is at 80%. Digging stuff out of the trash dump to sell it, okay? There are ladies on that trash dump that are making bracelets like this, okay? So tonight, everybody gets a couple of these bracelets, and let's make sure the girls get green and white ones, okay? So, everybody gets a bracelet, okay? To remember that nobody here is junk. Includes you, Darwin. Nobody here is junk. You're all to be treasured. And this group has figured that out with one another. Okay, now, I need Liz. Liz, and team mom, Ms. Brooke, okay? All right, what you get is This one's yours, Liz. Did I drop some? Okay, I'm sorry. You get a Jensen Ranch hat. You wear hats. You wear, okay, good. All right. Your guy here can do it. All right. And you get placemats. You both get placemats that are made from, this is plastic that's blown around the dump, folks. And you get coasters. You each get these. Because as a young couple getting married, Joel, you're going to need a placemat, and you're going to need a placemat. And as somebody that's going to be an empty nester in a couple of years, you need this placemat when you're having your dinner to say, how was your day? Okay? Now, when he says, you say, what are you thinking? He says, nothing. He's telling you the truth. He's a guy. Okay? But you got to keep talking and saying, what was good, what was bad about your day? Can you share your meal? And you can remember the junk becomes treasure. There you go. All right. Next person, Jeff Haynes, camera guy. You get a Jensen Ranch hat. Hopefully you're more excited than Liz was. All right. Now, have you ever heard of Cal Ripken?
Yes.
Okay. I had a 3-hour lunch with him by accident one day. That's a true story, right, Amy?
Yes.
That is a true story. You get an autographed baseball card from Cal Ripken. There you go. Because this guy shows grit and determination. That's what we need. And he's new to the program, and he's doing a great job. Frank Pruitt. Great friend now for many, many years. And in 2007, I'm standing at the U.S. Open next to this guy with forearms about the size of my calves. Thighs. And I go, it's gotta be, is it Guillermo Vilas? Is that what I'm saying it right? It's Guillermo Vilas. And I just think, as the national sales manager for Puma, you should have his autograph from the 2007 U.S. Open. All right. Next, Dan Gonzalez. What have I got in here? Let's see. Dan and I talk about life. There's a book. I'll give you some direction on life from Thomas Keating. And I eat a lot of his jerky. So here's some habanero jerky. All right. There you go. Thank you, Dan. Paul Angelico. Paul's got a lot of wonderful friendships, and one of those has been with Ed McCaffrey. Here's an autographed football card from Ed McCaffrey from 2003. You want to talk about your relationship with Paul?
No.
Okay, there you go. That's Amy. Amy spared no expense. We got you a Frank Ford and everything. There you go. All right. Next, Jim Flanagan. All right. I don't know if you're aware that this week, the second best coach in the United States retired.
Best coach.
What?
Best coach.
No, the best coach is behind me.
You walked in.
Mike Krzyzewski. All right. So here is an autograph card from, I think it's a 2002 NCAA Regionals, signed by Mike Krzyzewski and Chris Duhon, who played defense like nobody else. And a picture of me talking to Mike. I thought you'd want that. Okay? Now, there you go. And I just threw a bunch of bracelets in there because you got an ever-growing family. All right.
No more kids.
And this, we live a little south of here, and we get the Colorado Springs paper. And this week, a quote in that paper was, when you become a leader, success is all about growing others. Okay? And Jim Flanagan, you do that as well as anybody I know, growing others. Okay. Now, to my wife. This is a purse made from the plastic bags on the dump. Because as far as a container and helping me to grow, You're it, kid. I love you. Okay. Now, last thought. You remember when we were kids, and you could, Darwin, you remember when we were kids? Okay. And we could go to the five, your dad and I were kids, huh? And we'd go to the 5 and 9. Back then you could buy these little alligators like a foot long.
I had no idea.
Yeah, really. They're like a foot long. And wherever you put the alligator in, the alligator would grow to that size. Yeah. So some people, like your dad probably had like a 4-footer, he probably had a big container and stuff you put it in. The alligator would grow to whatever size you put it in. Okay? So just like with the fish in the frying pan, we help each other to understand that every little alligator can grow to the size of whatever container you put it in. So we help each other when we have hopes and dreams and goals to set them big, to set them big. And I've had the pleasure, girls, here's alligators for everybody. I've had the pleasure of coaching these girls this year and watching them say, no small container is going to keep them a little alligator. They are going to grow, and they're going to chase their dreams and pursue their hopes. And tennis is a metaphor for where these lives are going. Thank you for letting me talk. I'll do this real quick. Okay.
There's the mic.
Can you hear me? Yeah. All right. My buddy in the band Dispatch. You ever watch? If you ever YouTube the band Dispatch, their biggest song is "The General." Okay. I heard this guy speak, and I basically stopped him until he would have coffee with me, so my church could get involved with what he was doing on this trash dump, working with the school, providing food. He goes down there and does a concert. He's done Red Rocks, Madison Square Garden. He's done concerts on the trash dump, Red Rocks, Madison Square Garden, and a trash dump called La Chureka outside Minot. The only reason he got out of the cab the first time was because a young lady named Ileana came over and knocked on his cab door. And at age 11, said, come on out, I'll protect you on the trash dump, okay? Ileana, because of tragic things that happened in that environment, died of AIDS, okay? But she inspires each of us to have the capacity when we see fear bubbling up in each other, to knock metaphorically on each other's cab windows to say, it's okay. Let me take your hand and help you and walk with you on this next leg of the journey, okay? So I've got some stickers here of Ileana. My friend Brad Corrigan is coming out with a documentary on Ileana and hopes to go to schools and tell this story much better than I. But thank you for letting me talk. It is a great honor to be a part of this group.
Okay. All right. Everybody, every year, really looks forward to being the person to follow Dave. Which is why I say my thing before I introduce Dave, so that I don't have to follow it. The next person that I'm going to introduce to come up here and say a few words. We became friends a long time ago when he was coaching a rival school. And when I was a young coach and thought I knew everything, I had a way more talented team and he beat me 4-3. And it made me really pissed. And so I asked him to come coach with me and he said no. And I said, why? And he said, because of loyalty. Loyalty to an athletic director and another man that was coaching with him at the time. And I even took him to breakfast a couple times, and I said to him, hey, when are you going to come coach with me? And he said, I don't know, probably not. Luckily, that athletic director he was real loyal to, he ended up retiring, and so did that other guy he ended up retiring, that he was real loyal to. And then he was just sitting there kind of going, man, I was loyal to those two guys, and now they're done. And I said, hey, buddy, I'm still here, still waiting, knocking on the door. And since the loyalty card could no longer be played, we went to one day after state. Dave and I had lunch with him after state, and we got a burger called the Flanagan. That's right, it used to be a burger at Choppers called the Flanagan. I said, it's a sign. Get on the train, big boy. And he came running.
It was a good hamburger.
It was a good hamburger, wasn't it?
It sure was.
All it took was a Flanagan hamburger to convince him that it was a sign. And since then, he's been a part of our coaching team, and he's been amazing. And he is just as loyal to us as he was to those two men. Dan Gonzalez, everybody.
Now, all of you here right now, I'm going to have a prophecy for next year. These two have been cut short. Next year, they'll be twice as long, if not longer. Okay? So I want you just to remember that, because all of you will be here next year. Now, mine is just going to be about these girls. And each year, I come out with my own expectations of what I think our team's going to be. And I've always learned that no matter what, if we learn something every day and grow, you're going to be better for it. This team, I've known a lot of the girls on the team for years. I've known what they've done in habits and some of their ways they work. I had high expectations for them because I knew what we had to work with. But I want to tell you, girls, you exceeded my expectations. You did more than I expected to see, and I'm really proud of you. Even the game touched the fence. I don't know if how many of you parents know this, the coaches know I dislike the game. A little explanation is a game that we would call a one-hit wonder. If you watch the boys hit, they'll hit a ball as hard as they can and just try to win the point. This is the first team in 15 years of coaching I've seen that when they had the ball out there, they actually played like they were playing doubles. They were working together. They were a team. They didn't have anybody individually trying to beat each other. So it was really nice, and they really, coaches, they made me believe in touch the fence.
Good. This is a great game.
Hey, keep telling me. You girls made it good this year for me, okay? The expectations that I have, a lot of times, don't tell me they're higher than what are real. But if you don't reach, you don't try to stretch yourself, then you never get what you really want. And ladies, you have stretched yourself. And we have a big party to go to next week, and I expect us to stretch ourselves again. And I'm really proud of you. Thanks for the season that we had. That's how short I am. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Okay, the next person that I have to introduce, I convinced him to coach 3 years ago when he retired from his job of 40 years in education. And he doesn't like me to say what he did, but him and Ed McCaffrey became good friends. But anyways, because I don't like to say what he did. When I met Paul, his son was going to be a freshman at Mountain Vista. And I didn't know Paul at all. And Paul came up to a practice, and he stood by the fence, and he just said, hey, I've heard good things about you in the program. I hope Michael can learn something from you. And I said, oh, okay, cool. I think it was about 2 months later, I learned that he was in charge of tennis for all of Chassa. And I went, oh, hey, man, remember that time I saw you on the fence that one day? And your son's, oh, yeah, your son's on my team. Okay, cool. Paul, you've always guided me in ways that I need guidance. I call you when I need help, anytime something's happening. I'm thankful for the help that you give me. I'm thankful for the person that you are. And I know that you're in this for the kids. When I was at Paul's retirement party 3 years ago, and when you're at his retirement party 3 years ago, and the man is in charge of Colorado high school athletics and he's retiring, it's kind of like a who's who of people out. There's hundreds of people there from all walks of life. And what Paul said when he finally got the opportunity to speak, because I had to speak for a while about it, I know that's shocking to all of you, but when he finally got the opportunity to speak, he said, I really feel bad that you guys are all making a big deal about me here today, because the people that deserve to have a big deal made about them are the people who are coaching freshman football for $2,000 a year out in the rain. And those are the people that need to really be glorified. Little did he know that I was taking notes, and I said, hey, do you want to become a JV tennis coach for free?
Think of how glorified.
And because of the person that Paul is, he said yes. He's been to the mountaintops of high school athletics, and he just wanted to come be a JV tennis coach. So with that, I introduce to you Paul Angelico.
Oh, I thought you told me you were speaking. Sorry.
Well, if you haven't figured it out, we don't. I'm here because these guys are here. And these guys are here because, to quote myself in another life, they get it. They get that they're not here for your daughters to win pieces of silver and gold and red and blue ribbons. Those are natural outcomes, and they're good things. But they're here to teach your kids how to become better human beings and all they can be in later life. And everything you've heard today is not been about anything more than your development as young ladies into a society where you'll be the leaders and you'll be responsible for families and jobs and whatever you choose to be. And if you'll take what you learn in tennis, which has very low consequences if you make a mistake, and apply it to life, your lives are going to blossom. And I have no doubt that all of you will blossom. And partly because of these guys, but mostly because of choices you make. And we always talk about how's the team going to be, how are we going to do. John Wooten was quoted, and I'm sure you've all heard this, when he was asked how his team was going to be, and he said, I don't know. I'll tell you in 20 years to see what they become. And I think that's where we all live, is we'd love to see you in 20 years and be able to say, I knew you were going to do great things. So that's why we're here. That's why we do tennis. That's why we do any sport or activity. And if we keep all that in perspective, the pressure goes away, you'll win more, and what a great time you'll have in the next week. I'll bet it quiet, I can talk all night.
Thank you, Paul. Next up, the next guy I need to introduce, and this is, I believe it's his 3rd year with the program, but it's his 6th year as a parent. Is that right, Frank?
I've been a parent longer than 6 years, but yes.
6th year as a parent in the program. Yes, but yes, you have been a parent longer than 6 years. Frank is an amazing person. He is someone who loves coaching, I remember the first time that I met him, I just couldn't even get over how much enthusiasm that he had for life. And him and Christine, you guys got a lot of enthusiasm for life. I learned that. And he just has always just been really supportive of the program. And when I became the athletic director, I asked Frank if there was any thought in his process if he would ever want to take over this program. And he said, no, but I'll help you. And he's been fantastic, amazing. He's always there when we need him. He's always the first guy up there getting the courts ready, getting the girls ready. Apparently the girls talk to him more than me too, because apparently they wanted music and I didn't even know that. And this year, so he went and bought them a boom box so they could have music when they're playing. Anyways, with that, Frank Pruitt. He doesn't want the mic.
I'm going to try to project. I haven't had one of those in my hand since college, so I'm not quite sure I can do that, what I want to do. Hey, I want to start with one thing. Tennis always starts with one word, and the word is love. It's love, love. I can tell you that all these people here, this young lady here, that gentleman back there, all the parents love you guys. Very apparent. So one thing, and the second thing I wanted to come back on is something that's been a common theme up here. We talked about the journey. This year was really interesting to us because we had a bunch of people that we kind of knew. I remember you from a couple years ago. Oh yeah, don't you go to another high school? And who are you again? And it was kind of like that. And we were looking at a bunch of individuals. So I kind of thought, okay, we're on a journey here, and how can I best sum this up today? I wanted to have something very philosophical, something that also spoke to the word love, but really was about joy. So I went to, because we have an actual a priest, or not a priest, but a padre. So we do have a path to a higher power. So I wanted to read from a book from the higher power. So I chose the Book of Seuss. It's one of our great philosophizers that we have. And this book means a lot to me. And it really sums up actually this team and the individuals on this team and how they've come together. And if you've never seen this book before, it's called Oh, the Places You Will Go. And it basically talks to what Paul just spoke to. And I just wanted to read you a couple passages here that really sums it up on this team. I'm gonna have to put on my spectacles, ladies. I'm older. Yes, I've been a parent for 6+ years. Okay. The Book of Seuss. Oh, the places you will go. Out there things can happen, and frequently do, to people as brainy and footsy as you. Don't worry when things start to happen. Don't worry at all. Don't stew, just go right along. You'll start to happen too. You'll be on your way up. You'll be seeing great sights. You'll join the high flyers who soar to higher heights. You won't lag behind because you'll have the speed. You'll pass the whole gang, and soon you will take the lead. Wherever you fly, you'll be the best of the best. Wherever you go, you will top all the rest. Except when you don't, because sometimes you won't. It's hard to skip through the Book of Seuss. Oh, the places you'll go, there will be fun to be done. There are points to be scored. There are games to be won. And the magical things you can do with that ball will make you the winningest winner of all. Fame, you'll be famous as famous can be. With the whole world watching, you'll win on TV. You'll get mixed up, of course, as you already know. You'll get mixed up with many strange birds as you go. Be sure when you step with great care. And remember that life's a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with your left. See, this stuff kind of pertains to our practices here too. And will you succeed? Yes, you will indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. Kid, you will move mountains. So, Lauren, Elizabeth, Olivia, Charlie, Rachel, Peyton, Sahithi, Allison, and maybe your name is Sophia or Bree or Allie or Elle. You're off to great places, and only time will tell. If this will be your day, the courts are waiting, so get on your way. That is a Book of Seuss, and it's going to be a continued journey that you guys have, not only for this week, but for many seasons to come. what I want you guys to take away from this is remember this time. Really be engaged in the moment, be part of not only your line, but all lines and of this team. And I guarantee you, 20 years from now, you'll be talking about what you had for an experience in this season. I guarantee. Book of Seuss. Thank
you. Okay. I did promise our other two coaches that I would not make them speak. Are you still on that? You're still there? I got a head nod. So I do have to say a couple of things about our other two coaches. First off, positives of COVID. Okay? Positives of COVID. I never would have met Coach Liz if it had not been for COVID. So last year, because they shut everything down here at the school, they told me that I couldn't use the courts at Vista. You guys remember this, right? And so, being the innovative person that I am, I made a decision to go and use the courts at Lefsac and work for some people. You guys are remembering this? Yes. Because we would hit at Lefsac and we would do that. And one day I was walking down to the courts at 8 a.m. to hit with Peyton, Olivia, and Elizabeth. And there was this girl hitting with this guy who obviously had never held a tennis racket. And I didn't know who he was. But when I watched the girl hit Coach Liz, I was like, that girl can hit a ball. And we need to have her come and coach at Vista. And Joel, I gotta tell you, man, you're the best fiance in the world. Because the fact that you took her out there and you said to her, hey, if we just go out there, someone will see you hit. And then people will be like wanting to hit with you, Liz. I'll just go out and hit with you. So you're the man. Little did you know that the person that would see her would be me. And I would convince her to coach tennis and all of these girls. And now, Liz, just so you know about the impact that you've had upon these girls, Dan told them last week, what if I can get some time off on Saturday and I can come and run a practice with you guys and hit with you on Saturday? Their response was, no, Dan, Saturday is Liz Day. If you would like to come, you can, but it's Liz Day. That's how great of an impact you've had upon all of these girls and how excited they are that you are a part of our program. So thank you so much for being a part of our program. We greatly appreciate it, Liz. All right, Jeffrey. Now I'm going to talk about you for a second. Jeff Hayes. It was really fun the first time I got to talk to Jeff because it was over the phone and I had just met Lauren. And she had come in and she asked me about 1,000 questions in about a minute that I could not answer. But I kept trying to answer them, and then I would finish, and then I'd be like, okay, good. And then she'd be like, one more thing, one more thing, one more thing. And there kept being one more thing. And I was like, wow, okay. And then I called Jeff, and I found out where she got it from. Jeff was like, on the phone, he's just like, oh yeah, I played some tennis in Indiana and all these different things. But he was like, let me just ask you a question about yourself. And I was like, okay. And he's like, so you're the athletic director, you're an assistant principal, and you're also the boys and girls tennis coach. I go, yeah. He goes, how does that work? Can you walk me through your day? I go, no, I can't, I don't have time. But I saw where Lauren got it from, and I already knew from the moment that I talked to Jeff how fortunate we were, and I asked him after our first conversation if he would come out and help us and coach some tennis with us, and he was ecstatic to be able to do it, and he has been a great help to all of the girls. And he's also, just one really quick story, he's also not afraid to take on an entire other team's cheering section by himself. The Ponderosa team was all out of the tournament, and they had one girl left at 2 singles. And so every girl from Ponderosa was over there. The reason our girls couldn't be there is because they were all still playing. That's beside the point. But all of a sudden, they start to get a little chippy at the fence, and they start cheering. Just like Dave would say Ponderosa likes to do. And all of a sudden, I'm thinking, oh man, I'm going to need to go over there. I'm going to need to go over there. And then I just hear Jeff Hayes. And he has taken on the challenge for Elizabeth of cheering louder than 11 girls at a fence by himself. And it was one of the most amazing things that I've ever witnessed a coach do, Jeff, to take on that type of responsibility. And you know what? He won.
It was my pleasure. Trust me.
And Elizabeth appreciated it, and I appreciated it. And Jeff, we're just so glad that you're a part of this program. And thank you so much for everything that you did for us this year.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we are going to bring up the girls and talk about them individually and in teams. So that is the next part of our program here. I want you guys to know that when you come up, those of you that were on the team last year and made the varsity, you'll get 2 different certificates because you made the team last year as well. So you won't just get 1, you would get 2, and it says, like some of you, it says first year and second year, and you're getting them both at this banquet. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense. Because anybody that was on the varsity or was still alive for the varsity got lettered last year. All right? So, with that, we are going to call up Elle Crockett and Allie Callister. Frank and Dan are going to talk about the 2 of you.
When we started, and 3rd and 4th positions in doubles are hard because as challenge matches go, it's a tough position to sit on the top of that bubble and worry about yourself. This year we had a lot of good competition going into our matches, and we really didn't know where we were going to end up. And Elle and Allie, I know, especially Allie a couple times, hitting with her during the winter, she had a few nervous moments of what's going to happen. Elle has always been a gamer. She's ready for listening to things and go out and attempt, and she has a really exciting, let's say, personality to go out there with the game. Not knowing a lot of what she's doing, but she played it right. She was great support with Allie, and when Elle had trouble, Allie for somebody to come up. So they learned to play with each other really well through the year. And a lot of the things that they had gone through the winter that I saw a lot of wonder and doubts. Well, don't have wonder and doubts anymore. You guys are here. You had a tremendous season, and I think you're going to really do well at state. And I enjoyed playing with you. I didn't get to coach you as much as maybe you guys were up and down with the going of the other matches, but I enjoyed watching you a lot. I enjoyed you at the Ralston Valley tournament. I mean, Ralston Valley, these 2 went through some matches that they really showed what they were made of. And it just kept going on from there. So I'm proud to be with you and have you on this team.
Okay, so there's a vicious rumor that circulates our team about me and this team. And do you know what it is? Somebody said it the other day. This is my favorite line to coach. And I said, no, that's not true. I love all you guys. Tennis starts with love. I love all you guys. I love 4 doubles. I'm coming out. My name is Frank. And yes, I do love 4 doubles. A couple things about this team. So, 1, it is so hard to make this team. For those who've been involved with our program, and even Hunter knows back in his days, it is hard to make this final 11. And you're looking at girls here that have never been on this team. Elle's a freshman. She doesn't know. I mean, she barely knows where her locker is. I mean, now that she's gonna be a sophomore, she kind of can navigate the school. Allie's been working on this team, and to make this team, I'm so proud of her and the effort that she put out. But these were two individuals that were on 4 doubles. They said, yeah, Coach Frank, you know, we're 4 doubles. Really, what does it matter? It matters a lot. It matters a lot. It matters a lot to you. It matters to all these girls. It matters to all these gentlemen. It matters to her. It matters to him. Because you don't win championships unless your 4 doubles team is good. All lines have to contribute. So what I saw this year were 2 individual girls that really didn't know much about what this program really was about, to being one of the best lines in the state of Colorado. And I can tell you, they've lost 1 match by 2 points in a tiebreaker. That frankly, it could have been a CNI dog that dropped in on them, and it was unbelievable how good they played. And every time the urgency went up from the other side, they responded. They have been such a pleasure to coach, and whenever anything's going wrong, they come over and there's a little bit of, I'm like, okay, so other than that, how are you having some fun out there? And what I remind them of, whatever competition you see today, your competition during practice is harder. It's harder. So then all of a sudden, they go back out and they respond. I couldn't be more happier about these 2, so thank you for a great season.
Great job, girls. Next, we're gonna have our 3 doubles team come up. Sophia Yarosevich and Bree Underwood.
Both of these girls I have probably seen since they were 12 years old and developed through the years. And a lot of their game, knowing it, is conducive to singles. And we've had a lot of discussions this. Learning doubles this year for them was a real experience. And being able to work with them and help them understand that there are some things that are completely different in that short court or up at the net. They really had a tough time convincing themselves of it, but they had a breakthrough. And they had a breakthrough basically playing Regis during our tournament. And even though they didn't win the match, they found out what it was like to play up there at the net and shorten court. And they got somewhat excited, and it was really nice to watch them do that. I felt they should have won the match. They had the first set. The second set was so exciting to do the playing. Coming to the regional tournament, I really enjoyed coaching them. You listened to everything, you stepped it up, you went through a lot of ups and downs, and you really picked yourselves up and did what you expected, and more so. So be proud of yourself, and when we go into Monday, let's just do it again.
So like Dan, I've had the privilege of coaching these girls for quite a few matches as well. And forget all that stuff about my favorite line being 4 doubles. They know I love them too. These guys, what I really like, and I've got multiple kids, I've been here before, okay? I've had to tell them both are my favorite child. One of them's still here, the other one's at home. Allison, you're my favorite child. Don't ever forget it. 3 dubs, you know, is really great because when we started, I could tell how nervous you guys were. You didn't want to make mistakes, you didn't want to let each other down, you didn't want to let your teammates down, but then we had a breakthrough. And it was one of those matches where you could tell the people were coaching us to the middle. And I said, guys, you know what, we're going to go out guns a-blazing, and I want you to hit one down the line. And, well, I don't know if I can, I want you to hit one down the line. I don't care if it goes out, I don't care if you hit the fence, I don't care if you hit one of the snakes on the other side of the fence. Yeah, there are snakes and that's all grass, so be careful when you're down there. Sophia hit a ball that was so clean and so much down the double side and went in, and I sat there and looked at her, and she looked at the ball, she looked back at me, she's looking around, and I thought she was going to cry. I really did. There was so much joy in her eyes, and even Bree was like, dang girl, that was a really good shot. And then all of a sudden they both started hitting those balls, and then all of a sudden their game completely opened up. And from now you can see where they are today. Now they're regional champs, they're getting ready to go into state as a 1 seed, and this is a team that's really come together and could go far in the tournament. So I'm super proud of both of you two. Good job.
Okay, next up, our number 2 doubles team. Allison Pruitt and Sahithi Mathukumali. How'd I do? That's close, okay, sorry. Dave Jensen is gonna talk about you guys.
All right. Whenever I'm in misery, people, darn, this is gonna be, I'm gonna make a point, don't go. Okay, all right. Whenever I'm in misery, people that know me really well, like my wife, tell me the experience is good for me. They're like, this is gonna build your character, even though I'm in misery. So we're in the Ralston Valley tournament. It's the first time I can remember coaching the two of you. And I go over, we're gonna do all this technical stuff. We're gonna coach, and I go, what do you think's working, what's not working? And Allison goes, well, you know, sometimes we get too serious, but we need to be serious, so we're focused. And I don't know, maybe we're not quite focused like we should be. And Zizi goes, you know, sometimes we just need to laugh more, and we need to remember that tennis is fun. And I think kind of now we're down a set, and just having fun would be good because we're kind of stressed. So I said, well, do you need a joke? I mean, Zizi goes, yeah, a joke would be great. I go, okay, all right. Why did the elephant wear red tennis shoes? I don't know. So it could hide in cherry trees. And they go, huh? And I go, have you ever seen an elephant in a cherry tree? And they go, no. Then I go, well, it works pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah. Anyway, so they go back out there, and they won 3 matches in a row with split sets, right? So now they're in the jokey mood, okay? With split sets and then a tiebreaker, right? And then we ran into Fairview and couldn't quite get serious enough. But if we run into them at state, I got plans for them. But these two are very special young ladies that have a great chemistry as doubles team, and they're going to do amazing things this week. A lot of fun when I get a chance to be in the championship.
Congratulations, girls. Next up, we have our #1 doubles team, Peyton Hostelli and Rachel Fry. Coach Dave is going to say a few words about you guys as well.
So I go to what year is 2006. 2006, Jim Flanagan goes to the school board and says we need a social studies trip to New York City over Labor Day weekend. Okay? Happens to be when the US Open is being played. And we get US Open tickets, but we went to a Broadway play, and most of the boys watched Agassi versus Bagdaris on their phones during that Wizard of Oz thing.
Wicked.
During Wicked.
Broadway play.
And then I think we went out and we saw Statue of Liberty or something too, right?
Yeah, we saw Ellis Island,
Right.
Statue of Liberty.
I stayed a few days later and was watching a Carlos Moya match on an outer court. This guy sits down next to me, and we start talking, and he said, I'm very lucky I got a ticket today, and he had quite a tennis career, and was ranked, he claimed like 975th in the world at one point, which is pretty good when you think of all the tennis players in the world. And I said, what separates you at 975 from the top 32 that are having success here at the US Open? And he said, all mental. We got the same struggles. These two have a mental condition. And it's called tennis brain. We're at Regents. And afterwards, Flanagan, we won this match, okay? Very tight, 3-set match. And afterwards, Flanagan's telling the other coach, Dave beat you, Dave did such a great job. And he said, all Dave did was go up to the fence when they were down 3-0 in the third set and say, let's go. And those two took off. They got tennis brain. They won 6 games in a row to take out Regis at Regis. I don't even hardly remember those 6 games. Then they played Regis again, another really good team, for the conference championship, and they took them out like a warm knife through soft butter. These two can go as far at state as they want. Because they understand the difference between 975 and top 32 in the world. It's a pleasure to be in chain link when you're out there. My job is very easy. Let's go. Good job. Good job.
Thank you, Dave. Okay, I'm going to talk about our last four girls. That's right, our last four. Charlie, Charlotte, would you please come up? So, Charlie, a couple things. Number one, it's really hard to come into a team when you are not going to the same school as those girls. Charlie goes to Skyview, and she started to come out last summer or last year, and we kind of thought back then, I think, Charlie, that you were gonna end up coming to Vista. At least that's what your dad led me to believe. But that didn't end up happening, which is fine. But it's hard to do that. And Charlie has this amazing personality that is just so easygoing and has the ability to really just become a part of a group of girls. And we have such a friendly group of girls as well that she just loved becoming a part of the girls. And she ended up being our 12th person on our ladder. And in a lot of ways, that's the hardest place to be. Because you're right there on the cusp of varsity, but you're also like the top of JV and you're waiting for your opportunity. And I told her when she ended up in that spot, I said to her, Charlie, I've rarely had a season where the person in the 12th spot doesn't play. And she was like, okay. And so, lo and behold, Olivia ended up getting hurt at a tournament, and there it was. Friday night, as I'm leaving Ralston Valley to head over to Shea Stadium, I'm calling Charlie. I'm like, please, Charlie, pick up the phone because I need you to play on Saturday. And she picks up, hello? And I'm like, Charlie, hey, got any plans on Saturday? Who is this? It's Coach Flanagan. It's Coach Flanagan. And she's like, oh, hey, no, I can come play. I'm like, okay, that'd be great. And I'm like, okay, so here's where you're going. You're going to go to Apex Tennis Center. This is where you're going to be. At this time, that's what you're going to do. Okay, sounds good. And I'm like, okay, I got to go. I got to go to a lacrosse game. I'll see you in the morning. Okay, bye. I forgot to tell her that she was playing 3 singles. So she gets out of the car. She's walking up in the morning to meet all the girls. And Frank, being the guy that he is like, hey, Charlie. How's it going? She's like, great. What am I playing? Like 4 doubles or something? No, Charlie, you're playing 3 singles. I am? Yeah, Olivia's the one who got hurt, and we're going to need you to play some 3 singles for us. Oh, okay. That sounds great. And she won both matches that day. Then Olivia wasn't quite back to 100%, and we needed her to play again, and so we shifted some lines, and we did some things, and we needed her to go in and play 4 doubles, and she whooped up at 4 doubles with Allie Callister as well. So Charlie is an undefeated varsity player. The last thing that I'm going to say is when she came to the tournament, Frank said, yeah, you're playing 3 singles, and you know, it's up to Coach Flanagan, but you never know. You could learn by playing in these varsity matches. And she goes, what's that? So Charlie, that's your letter right there for everyone. Thank you, Charlie. All right, next up, we're going to have Olivia Ivanko come on up. Olivia played 3 singles for us this year, and Olivia and I have had just such a great relationship through the last 3 years. Only her and I know a lot of what she's overcame, and I'm just so proud of what she has overcame and the person that she has become. And you know, I know how much she was looking forward to last year, and when COVID took it away, I was really worried about her, and I was like, oh my gosh, I hope Olivia's going to be okay. And I'm just so proud of how you came out of that, and the person that you become, and the leader that you have become on this team. We've had some moments even this year where I've had to come down a little bit harder on Olivia, and I think and I hope that you know that it all comes from a place of love, and that it's from a place of knowing that what you can become and the person that you can become. But I'm just mainly proud of Olivia in the sense of the person that she has become, because the person that she is now is not the girl that I knew as a freshman. She is just such a kind person who wants to just be a part of and help lead these girls in the direction of where they're going to go. And I'm just so proud of you, and I'm really looking forward to watching you play at state next week, because it's going to be an amazing ride. And you've just improved in your tennis, but you've improved so much as a young person and a young lady, and I'm just so proud of you, Olivia, and I can't wait to watch you and what happens the next week and the next year and beyond that. So, congratulations. Next up, we have Elizabeth Probst. So Elizabeth's year started a little differently. She was on the varsity as a freshman, and she played number 2 doubles. She went to state. And then when the year started, she was number 3 on the ladder. And we got this transfer girl from Oregon. And I started off the first match that she played, because I wasn't going to let the transfer girl from Oregon just get a shot at the top spot right away. I said, you got to play the girl who's 3 on the ladder. And they went and played a match, and it was a tough match. And Elizabeth called me after. Actually, no, I take that back. She texted me after. And she said, when is my next challenge match? And I said, I don't know yet, Elizabeth. And she goes, I want another challenge match. And I said, you're going to get another challenge match. I will let you know. And it turned out that Elizabeth had improved so much that she climbed all right behind Lauren, our transfer from Oregon. She climbed all the way up to 2 singles this year and played 2 singles for us. And there was a point this year that Elizabeth wondered if she wanted to continue to be a singles player. There was a moment out on the courts where she was just like, I'm just not having fun, and I don't think I like singles. And that is the PG version of what was happening. Okay? That's pretty good that I took it to that version, right, Elizabeth? Okay. And I said, well, being the thoughtful, amazing person that I am, I was like, well, you don't really have a choice. You're playing singles, and we're not switching anything, so you better figure it out, and we can talk next year. From that moment, Elizabeth has not lost a singles match. And she ended up being all conference. She ended up also winning the regional, and she is going to state as a 1 seed from our region at number 2 singles. I have never seen that type of transformation within a season before in all of my years of coaching. That's how amazing it is, Elizabeth. And I'm just so proud of you and the way that you responded and the young person that you are and the way that you and Olivia have led this team. So thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to next week. Okay, so is that it? Lauren Hayes, come on up. Lauren, I remember when I met you, and I already talked about it a little bit when I talked about your dad, but just your personality is something that is just excitable and brings excitement in so many different ways. And I remember when I met you, I remember I called Dave, and I said, Dave, we got this girl from Oregon, and I think she's pretty good. And he said, how do you know she's good? And I go, well, first of all, she's really excitable and really excited for tennis. But secondly, Valor recruited her. That's not a joke, that really happened. That was kind of, you're supposed to laugh at that. Okay. Oh, you guys aren't shocked that Valor recruits. Anyways, I go, Valor recruited her, so she's definitely going to be good. And then he was like, how do you know that Valor recruited her? I said, that's a story for another time. Anyways, we got out there onto the tennis court, and I saw her hit for the first time. And I said, hold on, let me go hit with her. Because it was like the drop-ins. And I said, I'm going to go hit with this girl and see how good she is. And she beat me in the first game like that. And I went, holy smokes, I'm going to hit some first serves here and really put some pressure on her. So I end up, we only had enough time for me to beat her 3-2. Yes, that's right, 3-2. So we didn't quite finish it. But I was like, okay, at least she knows that I know tennis and I'm pretty good, and she'll know that since I was ahead 3-2. Well, the next day, the volleyball coach walks into my office, and he goes, hey, Flanagan. I go, hey, what's up? And he goes, so my girl who plays volleyball, Lauren, I was talking to her and I asked her if she hit with him. She says, oh yeah, I hit with him. I can definitely beat him. And I said, that's the kind of girl that I know is going to be a #1 singles player here at Vista. Somebody who is that confident after playing against me. And I have to tell you, Lauren, there were points in the year where I watched you grow up as a tennis player, but also as a person. The very first match that you played this year, you played the Castleview girl, and you came out like gangbusters, and you came out, beat her 6-0. And then it felt like you got tired because it was your first high school match and the pressure, and then all of a sudden you lost the second set. And then you came back and won the third set. And then you had to play the Highlands Ranch girl, who was a 2-time state qualifier, who everybody talked about being this great player. And you were down a set and won 5. And you came back and you won that match 7-5, and you won it in a super tiebreaker. And it was an amazing feat to watch. But none of that compares to the 3.5-hour match that we all witnessed on Wednesday against Julia Rydell from Arapahoe. That girl was a state semifinalist last year, and you stood toe-to-toe with her in every way, never giving up anything, and coming through 7-6, 6-7, 6-3 to beat a girl who was top 4 in the state a year ago. It was amazing. And honestly, it was probably the most amazing match that I've ever witnessed on that court. And yet she's only a sophomore. But all of that said, the person that you are and the way that you were able to not only come in here and be our #1 tennis player, but become best friends with the 10 other girls who honestly, and I love you guys, okay, and you're fantastic, honestly had every reason not to like you because you came in and bumped them down the ladder, speaks volumes to the person that you are and the amazing impact that you had upon all of us. So I'm really looking forward to next year, or to this year, and watching you at state next week and going through this week of practice and what you're going to continue to bring to the Mountain Vista tennis program. And Jeff and Jennifer, thanks for moving it to the Mountain Vista feeder. We appreciate that as well. Thanks for getting that job here too. All right, with that said, I think at this point, Elizabeth and Olivia, our team captains, are going to come up and say a few words. Right? So let's hear it for them.
Sorry, everyone. Hi, everyone. Ew.
Yeah, you can do it. I believe you. You got it.
Okay. Okay, I'm just not gonna use that. So Elizabeth and I, we just wanted to thank all the coaches. We love you guys, and like, we just, okay, you
I
go.
also want to thank all the parents and our team moms, Mrs. Hostelli, Miss Fry, and Mrs. Pruitt. And we have some things for you later.
Yeah. We appreciate all of you guys. We're all best friends. Gosh, we have notes and everything, guys. Can you go? Okay, we'll just move on. So we have some presents for the coaches. First one is Frank, if you want to come up here. We'll just say a couple things about you. We love having you as a coach. As Fenning said, your enthusiasm is incredible, and you're just a great piece of the team. So we love you.
Thank you.
Something for
Coach
Hayes.
Jeff. Oh, Coach Tate, yes.
I wanted to thank you for coaching me all season, especially my Ponderosa match. I wouldn't have been able to win. So thank you for her.
We love your cheering, and we love your daughter. She's amazing. You're welcome. This is Liz, if you want to come up here. I just wanted to say how special you are, and you're a big part of my life. I don't want to cry, guys. You're really special. I've been holding back tears this whole time. Wait, okay, so let's say more.
I just want to say how lucky we are to have you, and I don't know, it's been like really great having you to like help prepare us for the season. And I feel really lucky to be able to have been leading with you since last August. Yeah, so.
Dan? Yes, Dan.
I just wanted to thank you again. I've known you since, I can't even remember, I've known you for a really long
Like
time.
Northridge kind of time.
Yeah, you know, and you've helped me like for my whole tennis journey, not even just high school, so I want to thank you.
We love you, man. Paul, would you like to come up here? So I know you don't really coach for varsity, but you are a coach in our hearts, and we love having you. Coach Dave. So funny story about Coach Dave. In the beginning of the season, I think it was like the first team dinner, we were sitting up there in that corner, and he had this whole huge talk about pink dragons to us, and how we're all special, and how we can be whatever we want because we are his pink dragons, and we will forever be your pink dragons, Coach So the last one, worst for last. Sorry. We have Coach Flanagan. You have changed my life. Like, you were a big part of my life. And this is for you.
I love this.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you too. I had a lot, as you said, I had a lot of doubts this season, or just like in the past 2 weeks. And even though we didn't like talk long, I still love you. And I get to say that. Thank you.
Okay, let me check my notes one more time. Oh, so great season so far, everyone. We were undefeated. We won the league tournament. We did
Regionals.
Yes, we did so good. And next week we're gonna have the time of our lives, ladies.
Okay, well, now we have the much anticipated slideshow. So I'm going to turn off the lights, we're going to watch the slideshow, and then when the slideshow ends, then we just focus. Oh wait, we have dessert. When the slideshow ends, we eat cake, and then after cake, we take pictures, and then after pictures, you ain't gotta go home, but you gotta get the heck out of here. The last thing I will say is that thank you. Girls, if you could give your parents a big round of applause, coaches, if you could give parents a big round of applause. We know that this wouldn't be possible without you guys, that we would be able to do this, and we're very grateful for that opportunity. So thank you so much for the opportunity to coach them and get such a great experience out of coaching this team. It really is a special team, and yes, we are going to have the time of our lives next week. I cannot wait to see where this goes, and I'm super excited for you girls and the experiences that you're going to have. So, thanks for a great season, and now we're on to the slideshow. You have to eat cake though first as required, unless you're gluten intolerant. But I'm just kidding. Cake time.
Okay. You can't